Hey, what's up fellas, it's Mike from TechBee, and sorry if we've got a little bit of echo here, but the standard camera that we use is on its last leg, so I had to take out another camera to do some videos. Anyway, we're going to talk about Dangerous Power's E1, which as you guys saw, we did the unboxing video a few weeks ago, and we got out to the field and did some shooting with it. So let's talk about the E1. Basically, it's kind of a, they basically took the Dangerous Power G3, and probably the major changes that I saw from the Dangerous Power G3 and the E1 is one, it's now got the micro switch board, which is really nice. These guns feel a lot better with the micro switch than they do with the optical. Another thing that it has is the integrated ASA. Now, something I kind of like about the integrated ASA is that they gave you just a little bit of extra material or a little bit of room on the back of the ASA to screw in your tank. If you've got like a Gorilla air tank where the gauges and the fill nipple is really close to where it screws in, there's just enough room in here to screw in a Gorilla air tank. It's definitely a really nice recessed back ASA. Me being a taller player, it really melted my heart to see that. I tend to like the tanks set back a little bit. I don't know, it just kind of gets all of the fill nipples and gauges a little bit further back, allows my wrist to get in there. So I did like seeing that recessed back ASA. Another thing that they did was they really constricted the board. Now this is something that I kind of disagree with Dangerous Power on why they did this. They basically gave you two modes, which is uncapped semi-auto and the 25 BPS full auto mode of death. Okay, okay, the 25 ball per second is fun to kind of shoot in your backyard and max out and see what your gun is capable of and stuff like that, but it's a wasted mode. Okay, you can't really use that out there on the field, which is what this is used for. I mean, this is meant to be used out there on the field. Now, it's not really a backyard shooter. So I would really like to have seen maybe even a burst or a 3-shot, maybe capped at like 12 balls per second or something like that. Something that you can actually use. I mean, you don't have to really read all the scenario rule books and PSP rule books and see, okay, can I do 12 and a half? Should it be 14 or something like that? I mean, put it at 11, put it at like 11, like the Vibe or something like that. Please give us a second mode that we can use. I mean, basically the only mode you have of any use in this gun is 11, or is the uncapped semi-auto, which is the standard mode it comes in. But this is kind of a bone to pick. I don't understand gun manufacturers. When you've got two modes that you can choose from, you've got room for two modes in the board. Why do you give us a mode that we can use and then a mode we can't use, out there on the field? I don't really care how fast my gun can shoot in the backyard. I want to be able to use it out there on the field. But that's basically you might as well just call it just a semi-auto board. That's what we're going to call it. It's called the SOB board, semi-auto board. Let's go ahead and take it apart really quick. And while I'm getting out the Allen key tools that are here, let's talk about something else. Dangerous Power, as far as I understand it, owned the patent on the clamping feed neck. Now, I'm not sure it was them that sent out all of the letters out to all of the companies like Dye and stuff like that. I haven't heard any, no one's confirmed yes or no. I'm pretty sure it would be them, but I know Dangerous Power owns the patent on the lever lock clamping feed neck. Kind of drives me crazy when a company owns the patent on something yet doesn't put it in their own damn guns, okay? I don't like these stovepipes at all, okay? This gun is supposed to sell this gun is supposed to sell for $200. Most loaders sell for, $100 to $175. You get a rotor, those like $170. Prophecy's like $130, Pinocchio's like $140, stuff like that. Okay, so the loader costs as much as the gun. So if you put this junk feed neck that's on here, the first thing people are going to have to do is take a vice grip, pull this thing off. They're going to have to figure out what thread it is. I don't know what thread this is. And put a clamping feed neck on there, okay? We're past the days of the 200 rounds shake and shoots, okay? We're not putting $4 loaders on top of our guns anymore. We need nice clamping feed necks so that we can put our expensive loaders on these guns. But this thing does not come with a clamping feed neck. It basically has the old ion, stovepipe style feed neck that pretty much only fits the velocity, and that's about it. But let's go ahead and take out the back cap really quick. And one thing when you take out the bolt that you're going to notice with it is, of course, it's very similar to the G3, but as you can see, it's got a gap here where the G3 would have that little swoop, that little that snatch grip. Obviously, they allowed for the lack of the snatch grip by putting an extra volume of space right here. Air doesn't go in here or anything. There's an O-ring that blocks it out, but you can see the little spacer built into the back cap. Now, I'll get your questions. What kind of lube do you recommend? just about anything really works. I mean, Lurker lube works really good. I tend to like the thicker lubes like, Hater Marmalade, Lurker, Slick Honey, even some like the new white lube that Dye is using. I don't know what exactly that is. Even Bob Long's using it too. It's really nice. Taking apart the regulator is pretty simple. One thing that is really nice about the regulators, even though it has a swivel bottom, is it also has a Allen key, a little locking set here, a locking set screw here that allows you to lock it in place. Once you have it on the gun, you can lock the swivel into place so it's not swiveling off to the side of your gun. Okay, now to let's get the top of the regulator off. Stick in a nice big Allen key. Okay, it's very simple. Now, a lot of these guns, if they came like this one did, a lot of them are going to come already pre-pressurized in the box. Okay, I guess they test these guns out of the factory, but they don't, they test them out for leaks, but they don't depressurize them. So you may have some problems with your gun, maybe creating a crease into the reg seat that's down here on the bottom. I recommend if you take the gun out of the box and it's not shooting right, this, that, and the other, take apart the regulator first, lube it all up, put it all back together again. It should fix your problem if your gun happens to have a stick and bolt or something like that. I would recommend taking apart the regulator, lube it all up, get it in front of a chronograph, maybe give your regulator about 2 turns in, and then start backing it out as you're shooting it, and your gun should shoot fine after that. Put your favorite lube on here, wipe it down. Put it back together, and then screw this into the bottom, and you'll be all set. Packaging on it's really nice. It's got it's got a little O-ring kit, which always comes in handy, and it does have a really nice full-page poster-sized manual. We're going to take that out of the box here. Put in this macro line, and of course the little miniature Dangerous Power barrel side. Okay. And as you can see here, they've got this nice big manual showing you everything that you need to know. Regulators on the Dangerous Power E1, it's just kind of like the Dye and the Planet Eclipse regulator. Think of it as a water spigot. If you tighten it, it's less water is going to come out. If you loosen it, more water is going to come out. It's the same thing with the regulators. If you tighten them, less pressure comes out. If you loosen them, more pressure comes out. And that's about it for the Dangerous Power E1. I mean, the thing that you can expect, you're definitely not going to be, these guns are not going to be the most efficient. Most dump valve guns are not the most efficient guns that are out there on the planet. So, you're definitely, if you're looking for something that is, an efficient gun, this is definitely not the one to get. Also, I'd recommend, especially if you're getting a starter loader or a starter tank with this, definitely go up to like the 70 cubic inch Steely and pay the little couple extra bucks more than going with like the 45 3000 steel tank. Definitely recommend going to the bigger steel tank if you happen to go that. Or be smart, go into the TechPV forums. We've got an online sale hunter. There's 68 4500 tanks in there for like $90, $95. That's something else I'd recommend going with. Let's go ahead and go get the scale. So let's weigh it really quick, and I'm going to show you probably the best loader to put on it if you're not going to switch. Okay, now I've got my scale here, so let's go ahead and weigh it. Still a really light gun, weighs in at 1 pound, 14.4 ounces. 1 pound, 14.4 ounces. And of all the loaders that I tried to fit on that stock clamping feed neck, the one that worked the best was the Velocity loader. Now, luckily, these right now have gone on sale. You can pick these up, either the Velocity or the Velocity Junior. You can pick them up now, smoke or black, for like $65. Which is a really good deal. I recommend putting the Dynasty chip and paddle in there, and you're going to really be happy. That was actually the loader I used before I started using the Pinocchio, was the Velocity with the Dynasty chip and impeller in there. And it makes the loader work really well, and it's a little more efficient too. But as you can see, if you try to stick a halo in here, it's not going to work. You're not going to be able to get it in there. But a Velocity, there you go. Squeezes right in, and it's just about a perfect fit. I also don't recommend lubing these O-rings at all. That's a really bad idea. Leave them dry, leave them sticky, leave them rough. It's going to hold your loader in there a little bit better. So that's about it for the Dangerous Power E1. Good little shooter, $100. I'll tell you right now, with the Dangerous Power E1 coming on the market, and the right now with the Smart Parts GOG coming back on the market with the Envy, the $200 bracket's gotten a lot better for choices. So maybe I'll be able to get myself, you know, a GOG Envy, and I'll be able to do a side-by-side comparison. But this is a pretty good shooter if you're pretty much primarily only going to be playing semi-auto, and you know, you're on a budget. I would definitely look at picking up one of these. I would pick up maybe a budget 68-4500 tank. Sometimes you can get like the older Draxis tanks with the 7th element regulators on them for like 75 bucks. Put yourself a velocity loader on there. You pick that up for about 70 bucks, and this gun right here, you're going to do a pretty nice semi-auto setup for right around about $350. So, you know, this is definitely a nice gun by Dangerous Power. I definitely like that integrated ASA. It's pretty sharp. The trigger feels pretty good as well. It's got the, you know, the proven reg that's been on the G3, the G4, the Spec R, and stuff like that. It's basically the same regulator they've had on all of them. Easy to take apart, easy to clean. Feed neck sucks. Barrel's not too bad, you know, but, you know, we're talking about a $200 shooter here. But that's about it. So, you know, for 200 bucks, I think it's definitely a budget gun. But I would recommend, if you're going to try to upgrade this gun, I would recommend possibly just skipping over it and getting something that already has all the parts you needed, as opposed to taking a vice grip and having to tear out the board and tear off the feed neck and then put a new barrel on it. Before you know it, you're over $350, and there's a lot better guns out there for that price range. So, thanks for tuning in.